In this lesson, we'll look at some special properties of a rhombus. Since a rhombus is a special type of parallelogram, all properties of parallelograms apply to rhombi. And rhombi is one of those words that I believe many years ago, the only acceptable plural of rhombus was rhombi. But now I've checked many dictionaries, and most dictionaries accept both rhombi as plural for rhombus and rhombuses as plural for rhombus. Opposite sides are parallel, just as they are for all parallelograms. Opposite sides are congruent, just as they are for all parallelograms. But what's special about the rhombus is not only are the opposite sides congruent, but all four sides are congruent, so we can adjust our markings to reflect that. Opposite angles are congruent, and any pair of consecutive angles are supplementary. The diagonals bisect one another. But we notice in this rhombus, it also looks like they're perpendicular bisectors. Let's check. We can trace out 4 triangles. Then we realize that all 4 of those green triangles are congruent to each other by side, side, side. And then look at that intersection. That means that all 4 of those angles are congruent by corresponding parts. All 4 angles are right angles because any pair of the 4 angles form a linear pair. And when a pair of angles form a linear pair and the angles are congruent, the angles must be right angles. So we've just proven that the diagonals of a rhombus are perpendicular bisectors of each other. And also, because of corresponding parts, we can mark the other 2 angles of each of the 4 triangles as congruent. Each triangle has a red angle, congruent to the red angles marked in the other 3 triangles, and each triangle has an angle marked in blue that's congruent to the other 3 angles marked in blue. And then if you look to see how the angles are positioned, you can see that the diagonals bisect the angles of the rhombus by definition of angle bisector. In this lesson, we looked at properties of rhombi. All properties of parallelograms apply to rhombi. All sides are congruent. The diagonals are perpendicular bisectors of each other. Diagonals bisect the angles, and the diagonals divide a rhombus into 4 congruent right triangles.